Hello, 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 and welcome back. Today we're diving into emotional intelligence, mental clarity, and the real cost of pushing ourselves too hard in business. We're talking about why women apologize for tears, where that conditioning comes from, and how we can lead with strength without suppressing emotion. We'll also unpack brain fog, burnout, and the silent habits in business that slowly chip away at our focus. And finally, we're getting practical about networking, how to move beyond surface level small talk and create conversations that actually matter. I am so excited about all the topics we're going to be discussing here today. We have some brilliant women on screen, women business owners, to share their thoughts on these topics that we're bringing up today. Super excited. For those of you that know, myself and Emily Tassoni are running an all women's business retreat coming up in April 2026. If you are a woman business owner looking to get your business to the next level, you're going to want to join us. The website is on the screen. It's also in a clickable link in the description below. Other than that, let's jump in. All right, we have a full house listening to us live, already jumping on. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us. If you are listening to us on the replay, make sure you hashtag replay wherever you're at so we can send you some love in the comments. We are women entrepreneurs here live on screen, and we speak directly to women entrepreneurs, first generation trailblazers. We meet here every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern. We stream live, which means you can actually talk to us live. So if you're listening to us live here, drop in the comments anything, questions, comments, your advice, your feedback, your thoughts, and we can actually conversate with you here live on screen, which is really cool. We'll bring your comments up on screen. We talk about topics that are shaping our entrepreneurial journeys in order to empower you to make smarter, bolder decisions for our business. The reason Debbie and I really dove into this is because having conversations with women and business is just incredibly important. The way women run businesses is different than the way men run businesses. We have so much other noise that's happening in our world in the form of family, kids, ourselves, our hygiene, our homes, our cleaning, our chores. We don't really want to call them chores, but you know what I'm talking about, that men don't necessarily have to deal with, right? So jumping into conversations with women business owners who are running businesses, the thought processes that they go through, and how they are overcoming some of the challenges that they have in their world. So that's what we're all about. I'm going to go around room really fast. Just have everyone say hello. We have Elisa here with us.
Thanks, Serena, for having me.
We have Amanda Bryant here.
Hello, hello. Thanks for having me.
Yes. We have Debbie Ropo. Debbie's my co-host. And we have Michelle Drew. Say hello.
Hello, glad to be here.
Yes. All right. So we're going to be jumping right in. I like to get right to the point. The first video that we are bringing up, this is like so perfect for today because Michelle and Amanda were both in the mastermind this morning and I cried. I cried on the mastermind this morning. And that's what this very first take was is about. So it's completely relatable to today. And basically the conversation that I want to have today is about apologizing or not apologizing for crying in public, crying in conversations, crying in arguments, and how it's our stress in liquid form and how we should feel about that. So super, super excited to dive into this. This is something that I don't want to say struggled with anymore because I don't really associate it as being a struggle, but something that I deal with on a regular basis where I am just an incredibly emotional person. I cry in not sometimes the most ideal circumstances. So when I was scrolling my feed and I saw this, I was like, oh, this just brings me so much warmth. So I'm super excited to share and super excited to get your ladies' take on this. Here we go.
What do you think about crying in the workplace?
If you find yourself crying, your eyes watering in an argument, this is what you do. absolutely nothing. Don't you dare for 1 second apologize or be sad or apologetic that you cry. It is part of your natural biology. The higher the tension, the higher the release. That's it. It's what I say is it's your stress in liquid form. That's all it is. It's not the I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I'm crying. Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so sorry. None of that. Don't ever do that. I don't want to hear that. That is downgrading your own self-esteem. It's not that, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassed. I'm sorry I'm crying. Nope. You're going to just wipe them away without saying anything. And if you need to label them, it's going to be, these are tired tears. These are grateful tears. These are stress tears. These are overwhelmed tears. These are tears that care. Whenever you label them, you are claiming the power over them. It's not I am just so pathetic. Oh my goodness. I need to just forget me. Let me be in the background. Don't look at me, please. It is that you have to step into it of understanding what your body naturally does.
What do you think about?
Oh, it's like getting me teary-eyed just listening to that. I just freaking love it. So my background, I've been like this since I can remember. My mom is the same exact way. We cry incredibly easily. And all growing up, I was labeled as weak. I was labeled as here she goes again, being a baby. And pathetic is definitely a word that I used a lot. And then as I got into the workplace, I would get mad because there would be situations where I was trying to show up powerful, trying to show up like in my power and asking for a raise, talking about uncomfortable situations that were happening, getting in front of people to share. And instead of showing up what I would have considered or what my thought process was powerful and strong, I would get super emotional. I would cry and I would just make myself feel so bad for this. And then once I started learning personal development, once I started learning the identity of an empath and what that means and how an empath works and feels, and even that I'm working on my thought process around the word empath also, but really realizing the strength in that, right? The strength in feeling. And one of the things that I'm really proud of over the last probably 3 or 4 years is just allowing myself to cry and not apologizing for it, as he said, and just allowing myself to just do what my body does and talk through it and embracing that that's who I am. So would love your ladies' take on this. I know that a few of you probably have just some really awesome stories or thoughts on this. So who wants to step up, share some stories and some thoughts?
Yeah, I'll step up on that one, Sabrina. I spent 28 years in corporate America where crying was not okay. And if you did break down or have an emotional moment, it kind of went as a tick mark against you. Yeah. So walking away from corporate America in 2008 and becoming an entrepreneur, I feel the freedom to be a caring, loving, and if you want to call it emotional person. And I consider it a strength that I have now, not a weakness like it was for 28 years when I was in corporate.
Absolutely. Overly emotional, overly sensitive. That's another one that I used to get all the time. And it was always labeled as something bad.
Right.
Yeah. Always labeled as something bad. Who else? Thanks, Michelle. Debbie.
Yeah, it's amazing to me that we've equated tears with weakness. And that emotional, even when we say the word, oh, we're being emotional, it's somehow a negative. Is that not what makes us human beings? And quite honestly, Sabrina, it's one of the many reasons that I love you. Right? I didn't even know this about you. I'm a crier. Aww. I cry on commercials. I cry when someone else cries.
Yep.
And I feel like it's a superpower to be able to express emotion without shame, without guilt. And I think one of the points that we want to highlight is just like Michelle said there, in corporate, that's a tick against you. And, how do we work around that? And what do we do with that? And I feel that the only way to do it is to just keep showing up authentic. You've got to just show up authentic. And they may tick you in one area, but I think that you get ticked in another area that's positive. Because you do show that you're a person that has compassion if you handle it the way that they explained to handle it. You're not apologizing. These are anger tears. These are frustration tears, and just label it and move on.
Love that.
And as a health coach, emotional suppression is a pathway to disease.
Wow. Thanks for sharing. One of my favorite mentors, Barbara Cochran, for those of you that know her, she's a real estate guru in New York. I just love her so much. But one of the things that stood out to me years ago, probably 15 years ago or something, I was listening to one of her books on tape or something. And she said, women should never cry in public. They should always cry in private. And that was another thing that I really had to get over, because I saw her as being this role model, this woman that I wanted to emulate as I grew up. And that was something that I constantly had in my head, why I would have so much shame on myself, is because Barbara Cochran said, right? She said, don't cry in public, only cry in private. And what I've come to realize is yes and, right? Life is full of yes ands. And if that is something that's really important to you, if that's something that you really gauge as being something that you have to, then yeah, by all means. And I have the opportunity to do that at some point in my life if I want to. But at this point in my life, and as so many others, decided that it's okay. It's okay to cry in public. And that's something that I've come to the realization of. So I think that sometimes we're taught things, sometimes we're said things, even by people that we love and we admire. And sometimes we have to really live by the yes and. Anybody else? Lisa?
Yeah, I'm still kind of in that place of I don't hardly cry in front of anyone, and so I'm definitely working on that. I very much, will kind of hold it in and then let it out when I feel alone and safe. And I'm in a community right now that's all, the coach is a man, but the whole community is all women. And, we're all perimenopausal. And so there are tears everywhere. Sometimes we're all waterworks, and it's really amazing to be in this community where the women are just letting it out. And I just love that. And I'm getting sort of strength and inspiration from them that it's okay. And so I'm definitely on that road there. But one thing, when I do see women cry, especially women entrepreneurs, I notice that it's often connected to their passion, right? It's the why that makes them cry. And I think that is just, I think it's so beautiful. And so I whenever I do see a woman that's, crying because of her why, I think it's beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. Anybody else have anything on this topic that you'd like to share?
I'll go one more time here, because one thing I wanted to highlight, I don't think emotion and clarity can coexist. You can have emotion and clarity, and also accountability does not require emotional shutdown. And so we think it's one or the other. We can kind of have that thought process. And when you can feel that and know that, wait a minute, I can have great clarity, very good, very structured, know what I'm after, and have emotion. Yeah. It's not one or the other. It's the beautiful and that Sabrina talks about. Yes. I thought that was an interesting point.
Yes, absolutely. Amanda?
I love that, Debbie. And I think that it's almost as a society, we're getting there, right? So being in corporate and transitioning to the entrepreneurial world allows this a heck of a lot more easier than it used to, right? I will admit, I was in a wonderful situation where I could cry in my corporate world, and there were some tears shared across a desk. and it wasn't necessarily frowned upon, right? But you leave corporate, you enter this world of entrepreneurism, and you really understand the importance of feeling it, the importance of being in it, right? And with that being in it comes emotion. And then, you have to then apply that emotion to the learning. And this is not only entrepreneurship, but this is life. And it's just such an important life lesson for, the young women today, those coming up, whether they're entrepreneurs or in corporate. It's just this kind of shift in the mindset of like, feel the emotions and don't be afraid to lean into them.
Absolutely. Love that. I love that Elisa was bringing up perimenopause and menopause. My community also, her nation, our H Club, is women business owners and predominantly Gen Xers. I myself am an elder millennial. So yeah, the menopausal conversation pops up. And along with emotion, one of the things that pops up a lot is this weird word called brain fog. Lots of brain fog on the mind as far as, what am I supposed to be doing right now? I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just so heavy. There's so much overwhelm. A lot of like, I'm walking into a room. I don't remember why I went in there. I walk out 30 seconds later. I remember, I walk back. And even just sitting at your desk, I've had a few conversations with women over the last couple times, couple weeks. And they're like, yeah, I sit down at my desk to work and I don't even know. I don't even know how to human. I don't even understand how to be a human. So I would love to dive into this. This is going to be kind of two-tone for us. Debbie here is our health expert. She's bringing on the topic around the worst foods for brain fog. And I really love this conversation. Debbie and I have talked in depth a couple of times around, is it brain or is it perimenopause, menopause, or is it we're just eating like shit? Is it just we're as women business owners so overwhelmed with life, spouse, kids, cleaning, our own hygiene, and running a business that we're just putting shitty food in our mouth, right? So I'm really excited about jumping into this and how we can start to pivot, how we can start to change in order to possibly drop the brain fog conversation, whether it's perimenopause or not. And can we tie it back to our food? One of the things that I want to bring up just quickly here is dairy products. For a very, very long time growing up, most of my adolescence, I lived predominantly on dairy products. I ate cottage cheese, grilled cheese, macaroni and cheese, yogurt. My entire, like, everything I ate had cheese in it. It was crazy. And not to say, I'm not shaming cheese, or I know some of us like our cheese, but I finally came to the realization after running a food diary that cheese was the main culprit for all of these ailments that I was having in my life. And I decided to slowly start cutting out cheese. And I still have pizza every once in a while. I still put cheese on my cheeseburger. But what a change in my life by cutting out something that my body did not appreciate. So I would love to hand this over to Debbie to kind of dive in on this subject and then open it up to the ladies.
Yeah, I think what you said was very important when you said my body. First thing is bio-individuality. It's different for every woman. And I think it's yes to all the things you said. It's overwhelm. It's being busy business owners. It's potentially hormones. And today we're going to talk a bit about gut health and that brain fog. It's not a disease. It's a symptom of. And if we can think of it that way, it's just data. It's just letting us know, hey, I'm just whispering, there's something going on. And then you play with what's underneath it. And, today we're going to talk just a little bit about the root cause when it comes to gut dysbiosis. And that's when our gut bacteria is off. And we get it. We just want to kind of go through the 5 common food offenders. These are the top ones, ladies, that we want to just kind of look at and explore and be gentle with. gluten. Gluten's a big one. And we are finding now, and if the studies show that it's not necessarily gluten that is the problem so much, is that we're sprayed glyphosate all over our wheat products. And if you watch that line, they go up at the same time. When gluten started getting sprayed with glyphosate, that's when all of a sudden we had these gluten insensitivities problems. The dairy, like Sabrina was talking about, artificial sweeteners, alcohol. I'm sorry, ladies, but it's just the truth. I have to. And then there's the ultra processed foods. And what these kind of do is they just mess up the gut microbiome. They did a study on women in depression, and after having a dose of antibiotics, the amount of depression spikes. And it's because the gut dysbiosis you start to have struggle with that gut bacteria. And so really this conversation is just about how there's underlying factors to why you're having brain fog. It's not a disease, it's a symptom of, is really kind of what I wanted to talk about really. And I have a question though. I'm curious what you ladies think about this. When it comes to symptoms, something like a brain fog, what are your thoughts about it? What do you guys think about when, that brain fog comes in? Do you think of it as a symptom? Do you think of it as, oh wait, this is just the way it is? Kind of curious what the thoughts are.
I always blame it on sleep. I don't sleep a lot. So not because I'm not for any other reason other than my brain is just always on. So I like to work. So a lot of times I don't get to bed until a little later. And then I wake up fairly early, usually with some sort of multi-million-dollar idea that I'm just really, really excited about. And I have to write it down and again. And so I get woken up earlier than I should. I am working on that currently. It's something that I am currently working on, is getting a full 8 hours of sleep and like going back to sleep. Even if I wake up at 5, I'll be like, Sabrina, go back to bed. And I'll try to get like another hour or two. Doesn't always work, but that's where I always go, is lack of sleep.
It's really incredible because that lack of sleep can affect your hormones and your gut bacteria. So that's interesting.
Yeah. Cause it's usually around 5 hours is what I'm like. I can like fully function on 5 hours of sleep, like no issue whatsoever. But when I'm feeling a little brain foggy, I'm usually thinking to myself, I need to start getting more sleep. The 5 hours isn't cutting it anymore. That's what I'm assuming. I don't know if it's necessarily true. I haven't gotten enough 8 hours of sleep in a row to like be like, oh, everything's better now. Anybody else for that question? What do you think of automatically when you're getting brain fog? What do you blame it on?
I'll speak to that. When I read that article, and one of the things on that list really jumped out at me because it almost killed me. And it says at the bottom that these foods are not bad for everyone. Ultra processed foods are bad for everyone because they're not food. They're not nutritious. They're not giving your body anything that it needs. So I haven't had ultra processed food in years, but I would definitely recommend looking at that as the culprit. Number one, because
when we say ultra processed foods, for ladies listening live and on the replay, so that we are aware of what exactly we're talking about, what is an ultra processed food? There's women right now running their businesses. They're running families, husbands, kids. Yeah. What is the ultra processed foods that we're saying we need to be leery of?
Yeah. Well, a lot of the things on your list of your cheese products that you were eating, ultra processed foods. And even cheese can be ultra processed. If you want to have cheese, buy it in a block, like a real block of cheese, not like the ones that come in plastic wrap. But the center of the grocery store, all the chips and the canned and the boxed foods and all those are primarily ultra processed. So I'm sure other people have more to say about that.
Michelle, I think you're having a workshop coming up about labels, I believe. Yeah, which is a brilliant one to have. That's a great way to do it. Again, we look at the Yuka app. We've talked about this on this panel before. It's a beautiful app that you can just hover over your scan code, and it lets you know what's going on. Take a look at that's how you find out the processed food. If you're looking at it and you can't recognize the word, it's a good chance you might have yourself a processed food in front of you here.
Absolutely. Anybody else on this ultra processed food conversation?
I did notice, so of course, January, right? Health kick, everybody wants to be healthy. And so because I also like trained as being a health coach. And so was, I don't like calling it this. I like to call it like a clean eating kind of cleanse, if you will. But it is a way of like eliminating all those things. So no alcohol, no dairy, no gluten, no sugar. There's something else in there, but yeah, and some foods that like the inflammatory foods, basically removing them. And so when I did that for a couple of weeks, it was amazing how much more energy I had because I was eating really clean and but still eating a ton of food. It was just all the good, like the good foods, the clean foods. And yeah, the brain fog really, I don't think I experienced it much at all. So I think there is definitely something to be said for eating healthy.
Love that. Very cool. Debbie, the app, it's YUKA, right? Before I put
Yes, YUKA, it's a little carrot. And again, all you do is scan your food. There it is. And it lets you know if it's, it grades it.
So you put this on your app on your phone, and then you can scan it at the grocery store.
Yep.
And then it'll tell you good, bad.
Yep. And it even gives you suggestions. So let's say you're doing salad dressing and it's in red. So it's don't touch it. It'll give you multiple choices that you can choose that are healthier ones. And I think what Elisa said was really, really important, that she didn't have brain fog when she was eating that way. We're business women. We need to be clear. We need to be able to walk into a networking event and shake someone's hand and remember their name, right? We want to be able to come up quickly. Being on panels like this where there's not a script, you're just having conversation and you need to bring up, you need to have that. It's a part of your business plan. And that's why I always say health is part of your business strategy.
Yeah. And just as a little note here, just really fast, Belvita, this is something that I currently freaking eat. This is like my go-to snack. And I've never really looked at the label. It's got blueberries. It's got this nice little like, oh, it's good for you. Oh, heavenly. It's so... And look at this.
That's what I love about it. It shows you 6 additives. Too much sweet in it, too caloric.
And it comes in like a little pack. So I also feel like I'm watching my calories because it's just like 3 little cookies or 4. Yeah. So it's so interesting. And then this one too, this is another one I don't currently use, but I have used in the past. And this is saying the same thing, poor. So this is so interesting. We have to realize marketing.
Yes.
This looks healthy. It has the word botanica on it. Oh, and this is how they're getting you. But which is exactly what Debbie said about Michelle. Michelle's going to be doing a workshop coming up. Not that we're promoting that or selling that. This happens to be perfect timing. That we're not reading the labels. We're literally just looking at the marketing of greens and yellows, and we're thinking that it's healthy. That's interesting.
Go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, really quick. One thing I used to always say was count chemicals, not calories. And so that's it. Looking at the label and counting the chemicals. You want to have no chemicals and just, you eat clean. You want to have chemicals. You don't need to worry about the calories.
Yeah. I'd love to talk a little bit, we're talking about food here, but we were talking about brain fog. What are some things that you ladies do? We're speaking to women business owners all over the world here who are dealing with this in real time. They're trying to run businesses. They're dealing with brain fog, whether they're blaming it on change of life or not. What are some things that you ladies are currently doing? Even if it's like a nap in the middle of the day, I don't know. What are you currently doing in order to help yourself through times in your weeks where you are having brain fog? Is there something that you are currently doing? Maybe don't tell us you're downing a can of Coke, right? But like, is there something else that you're doing? that you could share with the team here on how you're getting over that.
I can go first.
Go ahead, Amanda.
No, I have a variety of tricks, right? I think you have to have a small army of tricks at arsenal to figure out because sometimes every time you need something different, right? So I live in Colorado. The weather has been unseasonably warm, so I've been trying to get out more and take advantage of it, right? If it's snowing out, number one, standing out in the cold without a jacket is not a bad thing sometimes, right? You want to wake up your body a little bit. And if you stand inside the window and appreciate the beauty of where you live, that's a win also, right? It's the things that it goes back to the food conversation that are more natural. So it's, it is going outside, standing outside, looking outside, moving your body, I'm in a place right now where it's I keep telling myself, your blood's got to circulate, sister. You have to move your body so that it helps your entire system. And so for me, it is about movement and nature and just kind of, clearing everything, including the fog, especially the fog, but clearing everything at the same time.
Beautiful. Love that. Anybody else? Debbie?
Yeah, right now I'm just in March, I'll be 59 years old, and hormones, really just making sure that my hormones are balanced. That's my biggest thing for brain fog right now. And there's a plethora of ways to do that, but that's my main focus. I know how the hormones can really, really mess with the brain. And so that's my main focus, really.
Beautiful. You went to a doctor and figured out, or what?
No. I'm this close within weeks of being specialized in hormone health. So using the tools that I actually have learned on myself, and I'm amazed in just a short period of time how I've been able to help some of the things that I started to struggle with.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Michelle.
Yeah. So for me, I do eat clean, and I don't really struggle with brain fog a lot. But another thing that I find, we have information coming at us left, right, top, bottom, and center. And sometimes you just got to step away from it. Leave the phone, leave the laptop, go outside, like Amanda says, just step away and give your brain a moment to just go outside, take some deep breaths, just chill. And it's information overload, definitely for me, just weighs on my brain, and I just start to go, whoa, wait a minute, come on now. So I would say just step away and leave the phone inside and give yourself the grace in that respect.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else?
Well, on top of everything else, I also do those things. Sometimes I maybe just need a snack or some water. I realized I haven't had maybe enough water, or my water glass has been done at my desk or something like that. So I'll go and I'll walk to the kitchen and I'll make a healthy snack, and I'll stand while I eat it as well. So at least there, maybe I can take some steps, not sit down and just have a sip of water. Sometimes it can be that simple, but I also too take breaks. Sometimes I just need to just lie on the couch and stare at the ceiling just to kind of have a little time out. But yeah, as well, walking outside and all that. But sometimes I just need a little snack. I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm down with snacks. I always say, if you want me to, I'll do anything with you. Just you gotta bring snacks. You got snacks? I'm interested. I love that. A couple of things I do. I do not take naps. That has helped tremendously over the last few years. I've never really been a nap person, but naps totally mess up everything. They make it so I go to bed even later than I normally would have, and then everything just gets all freaking messed up. Not to say that's for everybody. That's just something that I have adapted. I just go to bed extra early. So if I'm tired, I'm dealing with brain fog, I just push through the day, and then I'll just make sure I'm just naturally tired that I'll go to bed a little earlier. Number one. Number two, I invested in a vibrational plate probably about 2 years ago now. I bought a cheap one off of Amazon for maybe $150. Completely was addicted to it, doing it every single day, sometimes even 2 times a day. And that one wound up breaking because I was using it every day, 2 times a day. And then I wound up investing in a more expensive one that I dropped almost $900 on. And again, doing it every single day. It's nice. It's easy. I do it every single morning. And then when I am feeling the brain fog, feeling a little tired, feeling a little woozy, I just jump on it for 10 to 15 minutes, go through my phone, scroll a little bit, whatever it is. And it just jitters me awake. That has been a total game changer for me over the last couple of years. And then the other thing that I want to talk about is something that Debbie and I were talking about on one of our last panels, and that's community. Feeling a little down, feeling a little tired, jumping on a call with somebody, right? Calling up Amanda and being like, hey, how's your day? Calling up Michelle, hey, how's your day? Can a lot of times bringing somebody else's energy into my atmosphere can totally change the mood, the feeling, wakes me up fast. So that's another thing to kind of think on is, bringing other people into your world, even if it's just for a couple minutes. Could even just be a voice text, right? Just send a voice text to a couple people. They'll respond back with something. And then that creates that energy, that dynamic of that energy feeding back to you. So love that. Love all that, ladies. Speaking of community, we're going to be jumping into what to not say to individuals when you first meet them. I talk a lot about networking. I talk a lot about meeting people, jumping onto calls with people, conversations that we should be having, should not be having, how to really start engaging with individuals. I think as an entrepreneur, one of the things that we should constantly be working on is being engaging, right? How to be engaging in and amongst other individuals where people want to talk to you, people want to share with you, people want to open up to you, and what that actually looks like for them. So Vanessa Van Edwards, I am a huge fan of this woman. I've been following her for a couple years now. She is, I don't know if she's considered a communication specialist, but she talks all about communication, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's with relationships, whether it's in the bedroom, and how our tone, our pace, our hands, our face, and the words that we say, and how it all comes together and makes you either more likable or less likable in the world of which you're in. And I just absolutely adore her. So here she's talking about when you first meet somebody. And the saying that we often say is, nice to meet you. Here we go.
Trick. When you go to a holiday party, my husband knows this. If I introduce him first, I do not know their name. So it's like, oh, it's so nice to see you. This is my husband, Scott. And he knows to go, what's your name?
What's your name?
Right. So that's a really good little tip for your wing person. And then they'll always ask their name. So that's the first one. The second one is conversation. I think that what can happen in these is we get awkward small talk. We ask, how's it going? What's been new? And it's like the most autopilot boring conversation. So here's my trick. On Mondays and Fridays, always ask about exciting things on the weekend. You have to go out on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Same thing, which is working on anything exciting these days. What you're doing is you're changing their brain. If you ask someone, how you doing? How's it going? Their brain is asleep, stays on autopilot. Here's the answer everyone says. Busy, good, but busy. So by saying working on anything exciting or doing anything exciting, you're literally asking their brain to wake up and search for something good. And that, I think, is the point of our interactions. Let's talk about good. Let's talk about exciting. Let's talk about real things, not the autopilot stuff. Never, ever, ever say, nice to meet you. Oh.
Freaking love it. She's just a freaking genius, I'm telling you. I also just like the pace of what she talks. She talks in such a very good, I think it's the way she emphasizes. I love the way she talks fairly quickly, but I understand everything she's saying because she emphasizes her words really well like this. She's great. One of the things that I also kind of to throw in there is, which she might have even said this, so maybe this isn't my own thought process, but one of the things that I've gotten in the habit of saying, especially in networking events, is instead of saying, what do you do, right? What do you do? It's usually like, hello, how are you? I'm Sabrina. You are Bob. What do you do? I ask, what is something that you're working on right now that you're passionate about? So instead of what do you do for work? If their work is their passion, then we can talk about work. But a lot of times their work is not their passion. I actually learned this, and I apologize if she did say this, because now that I re-listened to it, I think she might have said it. But I actually learned that from a show I was watching where a guy had gone to Italy. He was like in Italy. It was like a documentary that I was watching. And one of the dudes that was talking said, you never ask an Italian, I think it was Italian, what he does for work. It's like rude, because they're not, their culture is not based around work. It's based around like friends, family, community, food. So you ask somebody, I'm pretty sure it was Italy, you ask somebody in Italy, what are your passions? What are some things that you're passionate about in your life? And then more than likely, especially in that area, they don't talk about work. Nothing that they're passionate about. They're just working to pay the bills. It's nothing that they ever want to discuss about. And I was like, oh, that's freaking brilliant. And I bet a lot of people would appreciate talking more so about what they're passionate about versus what they actually do. So would love your take on this, ladies, as far as meeting new people, networking. What are some tricks up your sleeve that you use when you're meeting new people, and or any takeaways from what she said? Who'd love to start? Debbie?
Yeah. When I first started networking, and I really only done it the last couple of years because I was kind of in a closet doing my own thing. I worked for a decade doing just having my clients, and networking really wasn't part of it. And I started doing it. When I first started coming out and being at these networking events, it was a nightmare because I was that, hi, how are you? My name's Debbie. What do you do? The conversation, I just wasn't great at it. It felt so unnatural. And this is what shifted everything for me. I decided I don't care about letting them know about me. All I care about is their story. I decided to get really curious. And now I can't wait to hear their story about whatever it is that they're going to talk about. So it was just a shift in my mind. Instead of going in networking, I'm going to tell them what I do. This is who I am, blah, 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 blah. Now it's all about, I'm so curious what you do. And it's changed it. My networking now is actually fun.
Yes, girl. That reminds me of an amazing story. I was at yoga down here in this area. They used to run a huge free yoga, like 6 a.m. on a Sunday or Saturday. It was crazy. My ex used to take me, and I would like be cringing, just it hurts. It hurts so bad because it's so early. And it was like sunrise yoga in Delray Beach. One time, after yoga, I was speaking to a woman. I did not say a word. She talked the whole time. I asked her like 2, 3, 4 questions, just really inquisitive about her life. She said she just talked the whole time. She knew nothing about me. My ex comes up, I don't know, 7 minutes into the conversation, and I haven't said anything. She knows nothing about me. And she goes to my ex, oh my gosh, oh, this is your girl. Oh, Sabrina. Oh, she's the nicest woman I've ever met. Oh, she's so kind. She's so nice. I'm like, this girl has no idea who I am. So to get back to what Debbie said, right? It's not about what you say. It's about how you make people feel. And when you make people feel seen and heard, they freaking love you. And that was a huge bell for me as far as like, it's not all about me. It's all about them. Love that. Great share, Debbie. Anybody else as far as networking, meeting new people, being in new spots? Any tricks, Elisa?
I don't know if this is really much of a trick, but I'm an introvert. And so sometimes if I'm not huge about speaking about myself. So if I have someone that's asking me lots of things about me, I get a little bit like, it kind of makes me feel awkward, and I don't love talking about myself a lot. So usually a lot of my networking as well, especially if I have one-on-ones, people talk about themselves a lot because I stay quiet. But I think that a way of kind of maybe getting around that or making people feel a little bit more comfortable is to kind of give first and lead by example from it, so be like, hi, my name's Elisa. What's your name? Or, hey, I live in Vancouver. Where do you live? So I'm going to share it first. So that I'm not just like trying to like get into your kind of life. And if you are kind of wanting to get into a bit of a deeper conversation, like you could bring up the subject or ask a question and then be like, so for me, I do this, then tell me about you. And then it kind of gives them, I think, permission to play in that sort of deeper space because you went there first and kind of led that example. Because you can always make your stories like shorter and concise if you don't want it to all be about you, but I feel like it kind of, you lead the path for them. And so then they feel a bit more comfortable.
That's good. That's good. Because a lot of times people don't, and they don't want to seem like they're interrogating. I just had somebody accuse me of interrogating them probably last week. I just was like drilling her, just like, not on purpose, just like I'm on a roll. I'm just fucking getting shit done. And she literally in the middle of it said, "Is this an interview?" Yeah.
I would say something like that because I'm just like, whoa, being interrogated.
You interviewing me? What is going on right now? So to Elisa's point, this is wonderful. If you are an individual who maybe doesn't know how to, isn't comfortable, isn't sure, they don't want to interrogate people, great advice. Lead by example. Give first, lead by example. Love that, Elisa. Anybody else? Feedback? Maybe a scenario that recently happened while you were networking. Amanda.
I follow Elisa a little bit. And an example that I often use is like, I'm a lover of shoes, right? So shoes and colors are my two go-tos, right? Like, oh, I love your shirt. That pink is gorgeous on you, right? Like, is that your favorite color? And it just opens the door for them to like, it takes their guard down because it's not like, oh my gosh, she's going to ask what I do, right? I want to know what you do, sure, but I want to know why you like pink or why, I think I've shared this before. Like someone told me once that when you wear black, you try to absorb into the background, if you will, right? So I ask about color, like, do you like wearing color? Why is that? Do you have, so it's just, to Elisa's point, kind of taking their focus on what the conversation, what they expected it to be, and taking it somewhere else so that you can get on that personal level.
Sorry, I couldn't find my button. To that, I love that. And a question about the color black also works because I have a reason why I always wear black. So even if it's a black color, sometimes you can strike up conversations as to why it's even a dull color versus a vibrant color. I wear a ton of black and have 7 different reasons as to why I wear so much black, depending on what day you asked me. So that's great feedback. And shoes. Yes, we all love compliments on our shoes. Yes, we put a lot of time and effort into our shoes, even the flat ones. Anybody else? Michelle, you got anything on this?
Nothing beyond what everybody else has shared. All good stuff.
Yes. I love that. Well, this has been great. We opened up with the fact that we can cry. Yes, and right. So you don't have to. And if you do, girl, do it. Go on and do it. Debbie brought up a great conversation around brain fog. We gave you some really great feedback as to ways that we overcome brain fog that's happening to us in the middle of the day. And then closing up with networking, right? How to meet new people, greet new people, how to network, and how to make it less uncomfortable for maybe those of you that do feel a little uncomfortable. Any closing thoughts as we wrap up? Anything that's kind of coming up for you to kind of close up?
This last topic was really interesting with the networking. I think when it comes to what's the woman's name? What was the woman's name? Okay. I have her book actually, and it's the body language.
Yes, that's what it is. Yep.
To watch when you're having conversation, watch the body language. When you ask a question and they, pay attention, and that will give you so much information.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is great feedback. I get frustrated with that sometimes when people don't read the room. That's one of my biggest freaking pet peeves, dude. I'm always in my head like, read the fucking room. Yeah. Because people don't. They're just all up in their head and they're just railing. Love that. Anybody else? Closing thoughts on everything we discussed.
Something that kind of came to mind was it seems to me to be a bit of a running theme is that it's just sort of like acceptance and being ourselves. And, so like if you got to cry, and when you're in a networking event, talk about that personal thing. If you love that shirt, talk about that shirt. And that if you are feeling burnt out, do what you got to do to help yourself. So I think it's really about knowing yourself and centering in and just being you.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for bringing that full circle for us. Appreciate that. Michelle, Amanda, any closing thoughts?
I love that the topics are different, but they challenge you to look at life like through a different lens, right? I mean, we just so often, I think earlier we said like, oh, I'm fine. You know, in one of the conversations, like the typical answer was, oh, I'm fine. Nice to meet you, and move on. And all of these conversations were just really reminders that how do you dig a little deeper, right? We're all dealing with something, brain fog, or, you know, not really being comfortable having a conversation with a new person, crying. I mean, all of these things are things that we're all dealing with, and we might as well share it instead of just keeping it, you know, at arm's length, if you will.
Yeah, definitely. Michelle?
Yeah. And I mean, all of the topics were very, very different, but really they all come into, they flowed into each other very, very well. So it's just about being a woman, in our case, you know, being a woman, embracing the fact that we are emotional beings, and, you know, we have challenges, and speaking about those challenges with a community of people like we have here. And you've created such an amazing community, Sabrina, and you know, kudos to you on that.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Did I get to everybody? All right, so ladies, thank you for being here. For those of you listening live, thank you for listening live. If you're listening on the replay and you made it this far, make sure you hashtag replay wherever you're at so we can send you some love in the comments. Thank you for spending part of your Monday with us and being a part of this conversation. These panels exist because women business owners deserve real discussions, real perspectives, and real support, not just surface level advice or performative motivation. If this conversation resonated with you, make sure to subscribe and share with other women who need to hear this, and stay connected with us here every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern. If you're looking for deeper community, real relationships, and ongoing support as you grow your business, we'd love to invite you into our Community H Club for community for women business owners who are serious about building, scaling, and doing it better together. As always,